Yeah, I mean, the thing is that it deeply concerns me because, for one thing, we're letting this happen. Another thing is that we're practically supporting, well, in a way, we're supporting an authoritarian government. I mean, the thing is that I feel like China was something better, like before communism spread to China. But I feel like this is kind of what they always were. Because, I mean, the whole strong traditional values and that adherence to culture and tradition and all that stuff that they've had for thousands of years, you know?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I respected certain elements of Chinese society, like bureaucracy, meritocracy, and the whole, you know, the culture seemed really cool. Filial piety.
I like
In
Chinese women.
Yes, I'm sure everyone likes Chinese women. Though the
I
whole foot
asked
binding thing,
Christian, and Christian said no.
he probably didn't
He's
like
like, I
foot
only.
binding.
No,
But
he said
even
he
then,
only
it's
likes
kind of
Japan. He said he only likes Japanese women.
that's racist, not kidding. Well,
No, did you know foot binding didn't just happen in China? It also happened like in other areas of Asia. Like,
oh, well, I mean,
but I did. Yeah,
well,
go
wait,
ahead.
hold on. Are you talking about certain
Like,
areas that were within the Chinese Empire,
I
or are you talking
think
about like
like,
outside of that as
like
well?
I think
China expanded
like
very far.
Thailand and stuff
Mm,
and Taiwan.
okay,
I don't know if
Thailand, I guess I can. Okay, then I guess it
and
is outside. Because I mean, the Tang Dynasty spread past up to Vietnam, I think,
I mean,
and
I did know that the Mongolians didn't because I know that when the Mongolians invaded China and they saw the foot binding, they were horrified.
oh, how can you
They were.
horrify the Mongols? It's like if you can horrify Mongols, then you are doing something incredibly wrong. I should
Did
have
you know
foot
there's
binded everyone,
people
foot
there's
bound.
like Chinese radicals that like they hate Mongolians to this day.
I don't blame them if they are pretty scared about Genghis Khan and all that.
I know,
But
but that was so long ago. Like Mongolia is
well,
a
for one
peaceful
thing,
country now.
for
They're
for
more
one
peaceful than
thing,
China, you know?
well, that's one reason why I don't really care about the Mongols in terms of what they did. And two, what was I trying to say?
You know what country I can't stand
What?
is Iran. A country I can't stand is Iran.
Oh, why is that? Because
And
they're Persian?
and Israel. Those two countries I ran mainly because of religion and stuff and like
Well, I mean, by that logic, you
they're
should get rid of the United States because it uses religion in a lot of its
I
values and
mean,
beliefs.
yeah,
We
yeah, it
have to hate
does,
ourselves. I
but
hate.
it's not as bad as
Yeah, I know. I'm just messing with you. But the thing is that people talk
there's freedom of
about.
speech here, you know.
Well, I mean, it's not as simple as that. Otherwise, we would have far fewer problems than we have now. We wouldn't be complaining so much. But the thing is that the whole freedom of
Man,
religion
this map
thing
sucks.
is a
But
facade for the most part. I mean, on paper, I mean, technically, yes, we do have freedom of religion according to like the whole Lemon test and stuff like that. Lemon versus Kurtzman, I think it's called. That's the court case. Yeah, Lemon versus Kurtzman, I think. But what was it? Yeah, but the problem is that Christian values have been like embedded into our lives for the entire time. I mean, it was founded by Christians. So,
yeah,
and it's been like that for a long time. That's why we adhere to marriage. That's why we're strongly conservative. Well, certain people are strongly conservative, and that's why a lot of people look
I
at
feel like
religion.
I feel like conservatism and the traditional aspects of the United States is kind of dying. The only people that possess it are like old rich people, which are the people in power, you know.
Yeah,
So that's why I think that's the issue.
they make money through politics, and then the left make money through China and trying to be all inspirational and whatnot. That's how people make money. But the thing is that you can't make a lot of money on the left if you're trying to
Do you
pander to
think our
China.
Do you think our voting system is shit? Because only two parties can win, and like
Yeah.
the third party, what?
I mean, Great Britain has a parliamentary system and it has a multi-party system. It's based on proportional representation. The way it works is that you know how there's the Tories, the Labour Party, the Conservative Party, and all these other parties. There's multiple parties.
Oh, I didn't know. Well, I mean, I knew that, but I didn't know the names of the parties.
I mean, I don't know the names of all of them,
I
but
mean, like Mexico. I know Mexico has like PRD, PRI, and PAN. So they have like
PRI,
3 or 4
PRD, and then PAN. Yeah.
PAN. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know PAN
I
is
remember
like
PAN
the.
because I think Pan Tostado. No, I'm kidding. I remember PAN
Well,
because
you
they
you
had
can think of
commercials of
PAN
that in
because.
Univision and Telemundo and all that. And
Well, you can think. You know, another way to get reminded. They're very pro-Catholic, and you know you could think of like the whole like the bread.
uh,
Well, they're pretty much the traditional conservative side of Mexico. They're like the Republicans, and then the PRI is like the Democrats. They're like kind of semi-socialist, you know.
oh,
And then the PRD is kind of like more independent. They're kind of like the libertarians, you know.
okay. I mean, even then, remember that we have multiple parties too. We have Green Party,
Yeah,
Libertarian, and all
yeah,
that.
but the problem with that is that they like there's no way they can win in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, I just want you to be aware that
Yeah,
it's not just two parties.
yeah. I,
Like,
I, I would vote. I would vote for the Green Party and or Libertarian Party or Independent. That's
I'd
one
vote
reason I like
Libertarian
Bernie.
for Ron Swanson.
But I mean, I was gonna vote for Bernie Sanders because you know he's actually independent. He's actually not Democrat. Did you know that?
Who?
Bernie Sanders. I didn't know
Oh,
that he's actually independent. He's not Democrat. But here's the thing. He had to run as a Democrat or Republican, even
because
though he's neither.
he can't win
Because
the other way because it's
he
the
has
whole
no
winner-take-all system in the Electoral College and whatnot.
yeah. There's no way he can win if he's you know. I mean, have you ever heard of Ron Paul, Daniel, by any chance?
Yeah.
That guy is independent also, but he ran as a Republican, even though, you know, a lot of Republicans didn't like him because you know he tried like legalizing marijuana and stuff. But he ran as a Republican, even though he's independent, and that's because
He had to
you
choose a
can't win.
side.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
choose a side, and it's bullshit. I mean, and if you think about it, like the media, like it's designed. Our system is designed for these two parties to win, because they have like immense amounts of power, and also the media. They only focus on, you know, they only focus on candidates from these parties. They like barely give any attention to the third parties. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, they're just like, oh yeah, Clinton and Trump, but they don't talk about like
Everyone else.
Wiggle Johnson or whatever the fuck his name was.
Gary Johnson?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was an independent. My friends told me about that. Briefly mentioned.
And then there was what was her name? Stein, the Green Party lady. And then she got arrested because she spray painted Green Lives Matter on a bulldozer, and then they arrested her for vandalism.
Well, you know, Orions are very important for Star Trek fans. And then for Star Wars fans, there's the Rhodians. Who else?
Oh, Daniel, how
Yeah?
about Raxus Prime?
Isn't it just a guard? Well, I mean, I don't know about
No,
Raxus.
no, no, that's Raxus. No,
Oh,
no, just Raxus, not Raxus Prime, Raxus.
okay, let me take a look. Was a lush world in the Outer Rim territories. 200 Japanese. I guess that could work.
You don't want to go with Tatooine?
Not in your life.
I think Tatooine's one of my favorite planets because it's the most. I think it's the most fleshed out planet in all Star Wars. You know, because it's got Jabba's palace, it's got
It
Mos
has the
Eisley,
most
it's got
invested in it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's got the Great Pit of Carkoon. You know what the Great Pit of Carkoon is, right?
Yeah, the Great Pit of Cancun. Yeah. It's kind of weird. The Sarlacc is not just restricted to Tatooine. It's kind of like the Rancors. It's like they're on different planets. It's kind of surprising considering the fact that they're different kinds. They're like the same species, but it's like they're different kinds on different planets. It's kind of weird when you think about it. I was
Yeah.
thinking of Felucia with Shock T. I was like, oh yeah, it was in there too. Why did they why did they like open inside of the Sarlacc in the first place? I don't get it.
Oh, are you talking about the Force Unleashed?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Sarlaccs are like parasites, pretty much.
But what do they want with a Sarlacc?
I think Sarlaccs are force sensitive or something.
Huh.
Oh no, Dialnagas are force sensitive. Sorry, you know what a Dialnaga is, right?
No.
Remember in episode 4, in the trash compactor, that creature?
Oh yeah.
They're actually force sensitives. Actually, the name Dialnaga was the original name for Jedi, but George Lucas changed it to Jedi, and he just gave that name to that creature.
And it's supposed to be like G die, you know? I bet he
Yeah,
got like Japanese or something. I wonder if it means anything.
Jedi.
G die.
The Jedi have amassed a huge army.
Okay, the word Jedi is thought to have been derived by George Lucas from the Japanese word Jidaigeki, a genre of historical dramas such as the Hidden Fortress, which influenced the development of Star Wars. Period drama. So it is kind of like Japanese influence. Nice. I mean, I really like the whole Darth Draconis character. I wanted him to be like Thanos, because I thought it would be like a perfect way to create another kind of like element to that. But it would, the problem with it is that it would take like the creation of an entire universe, and the money and like the effort and lore to put into it would be astronomically huge. Just because, I mean, it's a combination of Star Wars, Star Trek, Stargate, and other elements. I combined a ton of references from all kinds of stuff. I even did one with Phineas and Ferb based on the movie. Because, I mean, I created something from the game Masters of Orion where aliens from another dimension come in and attack, and that was kind of like the whole Doofenshmirtz thing, you know, the evil one invades and all that. And the dimensional rift device is created like his thing. What?
Oh no, sorry. It's just some guy did something
Oh.
really bad.
What are you playing? Are you
Halo.
playing? Oh, you're playing Halo. Okay. I'm like, your name's right there, and I can't even bother to read it. My gosh. But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of stuff. There's too much stuff. I mean, basically the
I mean,
idea.
it's not that hard. We just have to like flesh out the universe and make it consistent with the rest, each other.
Yeah.
Because if you make inconsistent like lore, people are gonna like get mad, And also, it's
That's
just
the
bad for
hard part,
the.
trying to keep it consistent. That's why I'm trying to figure out certain elements, but it's more about the action, my imagination, having fun with it all. I haven't brought your whole Nephilim thing into practice too.
Oh really?
I mean, I made God as like an omnipotent being, just like it dictates, of course. And the whole angels and demons and stuff. The whole idea is that each angel and each demon created their own version of life. Other than
Oh,
humans,
that's
And they
yeah.
did it across the entire universe. That's why you get all these different races. And Lucifer, he created this group of humans that were supposed to supplant God's version of humans. They were stronger, they were just completely physiologically and psychologically stronger, just more advanced humans, just stronger, better physiology, and that's it for the most part.
Uh-huh.
They were a little more prone to anger and more evil kind of actions, but more logical as
Yeah.
well. And they were created on a planet that's supposed to be like the Pegasus Galaxy, based on Stargate, and that's how I created this special race of humans that was supposed to challenge Earth and humans across the galaxy and other groups. Because I separated between Pegasus Galaxy, Milky Way Galaxy, the Star Wars Galaxy, and then this other galaxy where the Empire actually settled in. And then they reached this galaxy and they pushed the Empire back. And they have to deal with the Rebel Alliance, so, they lose the war. That's how both the Star Wars Galaxy and then this other galaxy, I haven't thought of a name for it yet. Whoa. That's how they settle there. But, I mean, there's a lot of lore.
Give it like a Latin name maybe, or like a
Yeah.
Greek name.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not good with names. It's really hard. That's why I always have to use Greek or something. I thought maybe Andromeda, like the Andromeda Galaxy, but I don't know. I think that's pretty close. But, I mean, I was trying to think of, like, a Latin word. I'm going to just try to translate it. I'm going to try to translate it from English to Latin. I want to call them the Forsaken. Oh, shoot. Primituan. Primituans.
Primitwins?
Primitwins. Yeah. I'll show you.
Yeah, I see it here. Primitwins.
Yeah, I wanted to call them Forsaken because they were the children of the devil, in a matter of speaking. They were literally the children of the devil. I mean, they were supposed to be against humans. They were born with, like, a darker power and stuff like that. It was, that's how I did it.
Uh-huh.
I created a special Game of Thrones-like situation for this story, and I combined it with Heroes of My Magic, which is a game. I've talked to you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I basically, like the demons, like the demon faction of Inferno, they had a bit of um demon blood, just at least a little bit of it.
Uh-huh.
And also there's another faction called Stronghold where orcs have that blood as well. That's why they are treated as slaves by the humans. But it gives them power against demons. But the
Uh-huh.
thing the thing is that there's this one civilization that continually continually expands and creates empires. It has like different phases. The first phase is from like the prehistoric all the way to the Copper Age. They go up north. It's kind of like North Africa. They settle within North Africa and they control that area. It's supposed to be kind of like a representation of Earth, but I couldn't think of the geography to make it like real. It I ended up with something the same, you know?
Yeah.
Except Europe was like combined all together. Like the islands of the British Isles and Scandinavia were all together in like one large chunk instead.
Yeah.
That's how I did that, but everything else seemed like the same. I couldn't really think of any other extra details.
Did you know
Um,
the Yuzhan Vong? They were connected to their planet like mentally and spiritually, but their planet cut them off from the Force. They were a Force-sensitive species, and then their planet like pretty much kicked them out.
oh, that explains why they're so effective against the Jedi in the first. Oh my gosh! It's kind of like Mitra Surik, the Exile. The whole severed from the Force. It's like to see the Jedi fall to these guys. It's insane. It's like
Have
that's
you seen that? Have you seen the I Eat Ass
sure.
from Filthy Frank?
I haven't seen the video.
Oh, well, now I want to show you this video of the Yuzhan Vong, so you can.
I'll take a look at it later, but you just leave it on the link. Yeah, but I'm thinking like that's why Darth Nihilus couldn't like feed or anything. That's why you beat him in Telos because you are kind of severed from the Force and there aren't Force sensitives. You trick Nihilus and that's why he starts eating himself alive. It's really sad to think of how Nihilus, Scion, and yourself are all well, along with a
Have you
ton
heard
of
of the
other people.
root the Rusan Reformation?
I mean, I've heard of Rusun.
That's the video.
It's crystal, but what about it? I'll take a look at it. Just, just not right now. But what about it? Because I remember Rusun is a crystal.
Oh, well, it was a law that took place after the wars of between the Jedi and the Sith, and the galaxy was just tired of wars, so they like prohibited like stuff like capital ships or weapons or like armies. That's why the Jedi or the Republic didn't have an army like during because of the Rusan Reformation.
Um, is it kind of like what the? Hmm, hold on. There was a World War One policy. There was a policy where they limited warships in World War One, post World War One. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah.
We talked about it in our history class. No, not that.
He's like, I eat a lot of ass. It affects my nutrition.
It says Washington Naval Treaty, but I'm just trying to take a look at it. Uh, I think it was this policy. Yeah, I think it's this one. I think it was in my AP World History class. That's probably why I don't remember it. Could have been my US, but I don't know. But it kind of sounds like that.
Yeah.
What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I created a Game of Thrones like scenario based on Here's My Magic. The idea was that the wall was instead like it was a regular wall, a huge wall, and I called it the Twin Peaks because there were two castles in high peaks of the mountains, and then there would be this wall, and then people would like travel downward, you know, and there would be like a small gate that would open into this icy pass. It's kind of like Central Asia kind of thing. But this was a change in the geography as well. There would be this this icy pass where wildlings, like the wild tribes with humans and such, would live there, and there would be a hidden enemy, like the White Walkers, undead. But I based it off of Necropolis from Here's My Magic. It was exactly the same thing.
Cool.
Yeah, basically necromancers, they were hiding, gathering their numbers while the entire world destroyed itself. And they were the hidden enemy. And then on the western continent, which would be Europe, one kingdom rules over the rest of them. Well, yeah, and then the kingdoms turn against them. And, it's kind of like a rebellion practically, a massive rebellion against them. And I created the whole concept of like Daenerys Targaryen kind of thing, the whole Robert's Rebellion. I changed it so that there would be the eldest son tried to start a rebellion against his father for power, and he was cast out and exiled to what would be like Southeast Asia. And he does it kind of like Daenerys and Viserys. It's kind of like that kind of element where he tries to take back his throne that is rightfully his, and he marries into like a group and he tries to find his way around,
Uh-huh.
And eventually he meets a group of dark elves that teach him magic, which is based on the dungeon faction as well. You would have to play the game and read into it to understand. Basically, they went through a portal and uh, what was it? They come through a portal from the Ashan, which is like their original planet. They come through a portal which is like a few galaxies apart, and they end up here. And each faction is capable of settling, and certain factions succeed, certain factions fail. The undead are one of those evil factions, and it's an ancient enemy that they fought before, but it comes back to haunt them. And it's basically a Game of Thrones kind of story. And then I bring some Lord of the Rings into it with the Sylvanian elves, like nature, like treants, sprites, hunters, that kind of stuff, druids. And I kind of link them to Fangorn. And within like the mountains, the southern mountains, which would be like India, along that area, that's where the Infernal armies and the demons still reside. And I did it like
Uh-huh.
Sauron, there would be like a demon lord ruling over all of them, trying to cause chaos again, and they stop him. You know,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be like Lord of the Rings. There's a special sword they find, they take it from him. It's supposed to be like the ring, and they have to destroy it before he takes it, and then he leads it into another hellish landscape and all that. But there's a lot of elements involved in it. I also create the whole element of World War One and World War Two. This main faction that's supposed to win at every turn is this main faction that leads over all of them is supposed to be like Germany. I based it off of
Mm-hmm.
Germany, but minus the whole Hitler and all that stuff. It's supposed to be like Otto von Bismarck, Kaiser Wilhelm, and all that. It's supposed to be a major power player. And they have a war, and eventually they are able to unite the entire planet. and they find the wreckage of a Republic ship that traveled here, and it got stranded and it crash landed. That's how they were able to develop their weapons and technology so that they could match that of the Republic, blast
Uh-huh.
rifles, shielding capabilities, defense, air defenses, interstellar travel, things like that. That's how they did it. And they also find a Stargate, and that's how they encounter the Wraith from Stargate Atlantis. They live on the Pegasus galaxy, which is supposed to be like from the Milky Way, distant from the Milky Way, but not that distant. It's close by. But basically, they encounter the
Uh-huh.
Wraith. And have I shown you the episodes?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you have.
You've seen the first one, right? The first episode? I showed you that.
Yes.
Okay, well, the thing is that they first encounter the Wraith, and the thing is that, as you've seen before, they're sleeping, they're resting. Because the thing is, they beat the ancients 10,000 years ago, and they've been sleeping ever since, and every time they pop out, they just cull humans. And, that's it. And they do it so that human populations can rebuild and repopulate, kind of like how we have farms and stuff, It's like we don't eat all of our animals to extinction, you know? We let them grow and
Yeah.
then we eat them later, And they do secret operations so that they can knock out their ships, their troops, and stuff like that without waking them. Then, eventually, the Atlantis expedition comes in. The thing is that these humans are supposed to be like about 100 years ahead, like 50 to 100 years ahead of regular humans. So while they're doing their missions and stuff, they picked out hive ships and stuff like that. And then the Atlantean expedition, they come into Atlantis and then they wake up the Wraith, and that's what nearly causes their extinction. The Wraith wake up and, they start taking out a lot of their colonies because they've expanded quite a bit, and they try to create an empire across several star systems. But the Wraith wake up and they destroy them to near extinction. They even created a planetary superweapon, just like the Death Star. I based it off of an episode called Trinity where McKay finds a generator, a power generator, which was meant to create massive amounts of power, insane amounts of power. Power that could have turned the tide of the war. It was pretty much like a doomsday device in a matter of speaking, like an endgame weapon, kind of like the Starforge, It was supposed to be like that. It drew energy from space-time because the 0 point modules, the whole idea of 0 point energy is it draws power from the vacuum of space, and it does it from the space-time of a parallel universe. Do you get what I'm saying? You there?
Huh?
Did you hear my 0 point energy explanation?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, in this episode, he's trying to harness. The idea is that they're trying to harness power from their own space-time, their own universe, and it's very dangerous. And eventually, they fail to succeed. But in this case, they try to harness it just for the quick amounts of energy, and they're capable of powering their doomsday weapon. They actually create like a moving planet, massive hyperdrive and sublight engines deep within the Earth so that it can actually move the planet. And it would take insane amounts of power, so that's why they had that power generator. They created another version of it, and that's how they powered it. It had a weapon kind of like the Death Star. It had a massive weapon, a laser beam weapon capable of destroying massive targets. And eventually it ends up destroyed along with their entire civilization, but they're able to escape. They cross through Milky Way space. They get attacked by the Goa'uld from Stargate SG-1. They cross through the Star Wars galaxy, and there's Imperial ships that get shot down too, and then they eventually settle on this other galaxy, and that's how they start off there.
Cool.
It's a very, very long story. It's insanely long. Eventually, they reach to a point where they control their entire galaxy. I based certain heroes and stuff based on Wolverine, based on the whole element of adamantium. They create a stronger version of it, and they create suits, and that's how they create their heroes. And I created multiple heroes like Hades, Poseidon, Zeus, and I based them off of the Avengers.
Cool.
Because Zeus, it's kind of like Bruce Banner. The whole idea is that he uses his light thunderbolt like a weapon, but when he puts it into his chest, he grows much larger and bigger and more angry. It's like he becomes like Hulk sized,
Yeah.
And then Hades is kind of like Iron Man. He created his own suit, and he has it like Hades, And I did the surgery, so it's kind of like he gained like powers of manipulating fire and earth. So that's Hades. Zeus controls like thunder and lightning, and then I made Captain America like Poseidon. He can control water and ice and stuff like that, and that's how and his suit helps manipulate that. And then Thor, I just made him the same thing. Gave him a hammer. I made Asgard kind of like an Atlantean city. Made the same thing, Odin and Loki. And instead, Loki, I gave him a scepter. A special scepter. It's like a Phantom Lancer. I'll show you. I based it off of Phantom Lancer from Dota 2.
Cool.
Well, do you want to show you, or I'll just let you look it up? But I based it off his Lancer, and the thing is that the hero Phantom Lancer, he creates illusions through Doppelganger, which he vanishes and then he reappears along with a few other...
Doppelganger?
Yeah. He has abilities.
Doppelganger? Or who?
Okay, I'll explain. He has 4 abilities. One, he uses Spirit Lance, so he shoots a beam and it creates an illusion right on you. It does damage to you and then it creates an illusion on you. His Doppelganger, he vanishes and then he reappears with a few other illusions so that it allows you to escape. And then he has a passive. He has 2 other passives. One of them is Phantom Rush. I ignore that. And then the other one is called Juxtapose, which allows him to create illusions. He has a chance to create illusions every time he hits you. He hits a target. And that's how Loki works. He creates illusions based on that. I really like the whole element, so I used the whole Phantom Lancer element to Loki. And that's why I gave him that kind of scepter, so that he could do that. And this Asgard, it's supposed to be an Atlantean city. It's the same thing as Atlantis from Stargate Atlantis. It's supposed to be an Atlantean city, Atlantean design, except it's an abandoned city, and it has the ability to summon the Bifrost. And that's how... What?
Oh, I said oh.
Yeah, that's how they end up being able to travel to Asgard, but there's certain things I added into it, but, that's what I did.
Yeah.
And these guys become heroes as well and stuff like that. I created Odin and his scepter, he commands Asgard itself and stuff like that. It also allowed me to bring in another enemy against the Ancients, the Coatl, which was based on Rise of Legends. I already showed you that, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically the Coatl were an advanced species that destroyed the Ancients along this region of space. and then they vanished and were destroyed. And then that's how the heroes show up. I create all these heroes based on that. And basically, these heroes are supposed to stop their version of Thanos, which is basically Darth Draconis.
Uh-huh.
Basically, he becomes a Sith, and he attacks both Jedi and Sith, and he kills like millions. He becomes a literal wound in the Force. He's like higher than Starkiller level, except like multiple times over. He destroys entire ships. He destroys entire legions of soldiers, and eventually he is stopped by enough force. And he cannot die, so he's kind of non-corporeal and corporeal. He's like stuck in between them. He's like, it's like
Mhm.
Scion, but he's like dust and stuff. Kind of like a Captain Salazar. It's kind of like that. Part corporeal, part incorporeal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. And so they imprison him. They strip him of his items, and then they imprison him in a special planet. I haven't thought of the name of the planet, but it's supposed to be a representation of the 4 elements in terms of hell. It's supposed to be 4 elements. Each of them are hellish landscapes, like earth, like fire, water, earth, and air. He is imprisoned in a volcanic area, in a mountain in a volcanic area. Water, it's supposed to be like a tundra, kind of like it's supposed to be an icy hemisphere, kind of like what was it? Hoth. Earth in that regard is like mountainous regions, jagged, like avalanches and stuff like that. And then air, I thought like I couldn't think of something for air. I just thought like water, like storms, hailstorms, all kinds of stuff. Snowstorms, blizzards, hailstorms, I don't know. It would have to work all together accordingly, but it was practically hell on that planet. Surrounded by a nebula, and there would be a weather controlling device that would create those elements. And he would be prisoned physically and psychologically. He would end up in a maze, and he would constantly have to run through a maze trying to escape constantly. He would never be able to get out, you know?
Yeah.
Until followers come to him with items, and, it's supposed to be like the Infinity Stones. They come with Infinity Stones, they come with items that he used, and they have like a part of his power, and he goes after the Republic and everyone else. That's how it works. And each...
Who's...
Oh, yep.
No, sorry. I thought you were done. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna ask you what was your favorite? What's your favorite Sith from it's Malgus, right?
I would say Malgus. I really like Nihilus and Treya. I'd say my
Darth Treya.
Darth Treya in terms of favorite character out of everything in existence. It's like Treya is like the ultimate deep character that you want forever. Littlefinger, Tywin Lannister, Olenna Tyrell, Frank Underwood. It's like she is like god level character. It's like once in a lifetime kind of thing. It's amazing. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of Treya, she's probably my favorite character. Treya. Oh my gosh, those rhyme. Dang. But
Kreia and Treya?
I really loved Nihilus. Nihilus is like, he like brings fear. It's like, he terrifies me. I really liked Malgus more. He made himself emperor. He went after the Republic. He led campaigns. He was like the Napoleon Bonaparte of the Star Wars galaxy universe. He was like Napoleon Bonaparte. He led battles. He was a great general, a great leader, and then he comes and takes over the Emperor's throne and becomes emperor himself. It's like, that is badassery right there. And also how he looks. He has a mask and all that. It's like, ooh.
So did you come up with a planet or no? What about Taurus?
Terrace? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that great. I think it is hospitable and like adequate, but I feel like it's like too plagued by the Empire and all that. Also, it's too close to the seat of the it's within the seat of the Empire too, so I'll figure out a plan.
What about Telos 4?
Telos 4?
Yes.
Telos, when they say prime, that's the first planet, right? That's what they
I
mean
think
by
so,
prime.
yeah.
Yeah.
The prime planet, yeah.
Telos 4. Let me take a look. Dantooine's actually nice. I should consider Dantooine instead.
It's a farming planet, so maybe, yeah.
Oh, it is the Telos planet that you go to. Okay. I thought it was... Oh, okay.
Hey
Okay,
Daniel,
fine.
I'm gonna go to I'm gonna go to McDonald's real quick, cause I'm hungry. I'll be
Sure.
back.
Sure.